Morning. Right, it's getting close now. This is coming on, and this stage is going to be getting the external cladding on. So we've got the Tyvek layer, which has been protecting the building for the last, I don't know, perhaps 2 months. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to put some horizontal lath, I'm thinking 3 strips, one at the top, one in the middle, one at the bottom. Onto that's where I'm going to mount the external cladding. So all of that boarding that I spent ages and ages and ages scorching and burning, that today is going to go on the exterior of the building. I'm going to start at this side and then work my way round to the front of the building, then do the apex, and then do the far side, and then that will be that. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to tie the ends of the planks into the garage. I've got quite an excess amount of the Tyvek over the wall here. I don't know, what I'm thinking at the moment is that I'll actually have an end piece that will be like a capping that will fill the end of the hole where the lath is going to stick out and create an air gap, and then I can cap that off in the end. But I'll worry about that when I get to it. The first things first is horizontal strips and then vertical cladding. I'm going to use the cladding as a surround for the door in the same way that I'm going to use it as the edging. 266. I'm going to use the nail gun, I think, to bop these up, and then do the same with the cladding. Now when I come to nail the cladding, what I want to try to do, I want to see if it's possible to hide the nails. I don't know how easy that's going to be. One of the things I've got to be careful of is nailing into the wires or pipes. As long as I get the top plinth level with the top of the door and go no higher, then that'll be fine. It'll be below the line of the cabling that I'll put in. Pipe work, I think couldn't be cool because that goes down and way inside. So I think I'm going to be very far away from any of that. So that's going to be cool for cats. Right, let's get the nail gun and then get him in place. There we go. So those ones are going to be deeper, much deeper than I actually need, really. But seeing as I bought a shed load of them, may as well reuse them. Grand. What I am going to do is make sure I get one into the stud. What I'm intrigued to know is whether or not one would actually go through into the wall, because this is brick at this bit. So I'm just going to do a little test, see what happens. Nope. Didn't work. See, sticking out. I'll have to get that out now. That's going to be problematic. Experiment. You've got to experiment now and again, haven't you? I've cut these out already, 70 centimetres across. Then I'll just try and line them up as best as possible with the ones on the far side there. I think what I'm going to do to help with that is use the spirit level and run that across. Now I need to work out what I'm going to do with the top section. Because the external cladding is going to go to the base of these ridge beams, I'm going to need to do something across the top here. What I'm thinking at the moment is if I just have 2 smaller strips, this section is actually probably going to run a little bit higher. I think I'll have those going up higher above the door. That way I can create a raised area above the door and it will just tie in nicer with the opening. So all the box section will be in here, but what I'm thinking at the moment is I don't want the box section to come down below the line of the door, because that would look a bit shit. So yeah, I think I'll do that. Okie dokie. Perfect. It's a bit wham. Let's get some of these bad boys out. It doesn't get any lighter. Perfect. Oh, you beauty. So that first one needs to go right in there, like that. That is not 3 bad to get in here with the nail gun. Apprehensive time, got to be quite accurate. That lined up from the edge there to there is my gap. Don't know. I'm just gonna, I think I'll try it. It's gonna be a trial and error, I think. So having up against it, it's in place. Check for level again. He's got to come up the bottom a bit. It might help if I got him vertical, that would be better, wouldn't it? Get a better reading then, won't you, Rich? But it's got to be right, innit? It's got to be right. Here we go. I'm in. Right. That's the first one done. Several hundred more to go. There is one thing that I do need to do. At the end of the grain, that needs to be burnt off, doesn't it, to seal it. Same with that end. I'm gonna have to break out the burner again. One of the things that I've got to do on this is allow for the expansion and contraction of the wood. And what I'm thinking is, I'm gonna use a screwdriver as my gap. If I try to just do, single boards all the way around, I'm not gonna have enough, I don't think. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna use half boards every so often to kind of use up all the material that I've got. So that's what I'm going to go for here. No split iron. Jolly good. Super. So it's been a couple of days and we've had a bit of weather, the usual thing. So it stopped me from doing what I need to do. But I have got a few planks up. And now we're getting to a bit of an interesting bit. I've got to find out the edges of the door and work my way around there. Now, this is more luck than judgment, right? Now, had I thought about this would have been an awesome thing to do. It would have been to measure back from this point all the way back. Now, each of these boards is actually 14.5 centimeters width. And as it happens, this here, right, is 14.5 right to the edge of that door. So more by luck than judgment. So what that does mean is that I'm going to be able to get the whole board in. I'm going to have to take the tongue off the front of it. That way it can sit flush with another piece of wood sitting on the inside. What I want to do is frame this doorway using scorch wood all the way around like this. Now, it's not going to stick out as much as this. I am going to have to cut this back, but I'm going to cut it back level with the fascia. I'm only going to do that once I've got the fascia up to it, so I know exactly what sort of depth I've got to get to. That's the plan. And that's what we're going to be doing today, is working way around the door, getting the door frame in, getting along the top, down across this bit, and then hopefully we get to the point where we can work across the front. Let's crack on. Let's put my name in that, 222, and that is Bob on the button. That'll do nicely. Okay, get the right way up. Trial him up first of all. Oh, that is going to be pretty damn bob on. I reckon I'm going to need about half of that edge to be trimmed. See that board? It's nearly flush with that. It's only going to be half of this out to get this board in place. There's only a tiny, tiny gap there that's going to need to go back. So crikey Bob, yeah. I have to try and cut half of this tongue. Righto, I've switched over to the table saw and I measured up using one of the offcuts. And I reckon that is about, I reckon that's going to be about bob on. It's perhaps a little bit less than I need. It's like it's a third, about a third of the tongue. I want to try that first of all. Don't want to take too much off. It's like you can always take more off, but you can't put any more back on, you know. Yeah, that's a bit wibbly wobbly on the edge of that. I don't know if that's going to be all right. We'll see. Try him up, see how he looks. Oh, yes. That is blooming beautiful. Like a fraction, about a millimetre, which is great because I need to apply the teeny tiny gap in here. So I'm going to add a millimetre back in that side to allow for expansion, contraction and movement. And then that will mean this side is going to be bob on to connect up with this. Oopsie. It's good at the top, not so good when I lose it down the bottom. I tell you what, I'm very pleased with how this gap has turned out between the concrete and these panels. It's almost as if somebody's measured it, you know. Righty, let's go with that. It's looking good. These ones are going to have to be more centred. It's a bit of a shame, but super! And that is the first bit done. As the base for the top pieces. So we are at about there, I think. Oh, that's 20 centimetres exactly. I do like it when it comes out nice and even. I think, seeing as we're only doing 20 centimetres, I reckon these two are probably going to be enough. I'm going to measure that again though, because I've made that mistake earlier before. No, it's definitely only 20. It's amazing when it comes out like that. I do like even numbers. Yeah. Super. Right, let's get that one before it falls. Nein, das ist nicht gut. That might do it. A little bit longer. Yeah, that's going to work. Super. Here we go then. I think that might be enough. Let's have a quick check with the tapes. Oh no, a few more. At least 5. Let's do 6. Just got to go and burn these. Seal off the ends, both ends, and then we're good. All right, so what I've got is down here. This is just a patio gas for a patio heater. I think it's a propane butane mix, which isn't really perfect for what I'm doing. Really, I could do with like I think it's a propane gas, like a higher pressure one, but it does the job. It does the job eventually, you know. So stick that on, connect it up. I don't know if that should spin or what, but it does. Get me lighter, and then I'm good to go. Little bit singed, but that's a nice finish. A little bit of flamey, but yeah, I like that. Let's get them put up. So what I'm thinking is they're going to be, because they're shorter, they could be a bit more wibbly wobbly, because they're not going to be sat with as much tongue as the rest of them. So what I'm going to do is use the spirit level here. There, right, so that started off. It's a bit too close in for my liking. Use the old, we'll use the screwdriver to check the gap. That works, that's bob on. Okay, cool. That's the good angle. Battery and bullets, both. Blimey. Right, so try them again. That's better. Ooh, keep forgetting those. There we go. So I'm happy with that all the way across. The problem is now, that's no way I'm going to get a full one in there. So I think I'm going to have a look at it, cut the top. Could have notched out the top of that one, and that'll be all right then. So that is 12 mil to the face. 2.5 centimeters left with 12 centimeters in. It's not a lot of wood left, but 12 centimeters across the top, leaving 2.5 on the. Oh, it's the other way around, isn't it? Oh, crikey, Rich, get with it. So if I've got 12 here to the face, it's really 11.7. So that's from the back edge, 11 centimeters, 7 millimeters. If I take that as my mark and then cut down to that, I should be away. So 11, 5, 6, 7, that is what I've got to cut to. Ooh, it's getting a bit interesting now. We're reaching the end of this run. That'll be the first of 3 sides to be completed. It's not quite out the woods just yet, because I've got 2 full pieces, maybe 3 full pieces, and then I'm going to have to get an edge strip and fit that in. So we'll see. Nearly there though, nearly there for that first edge. That'd be awesome. Quite right. See how we're doing for level. Oh yeah. Super. So, going to finish with 2 half sheets. Going to have to be, I'm going to start extending these out a little bit longer now, just to this metal sheet here. So what I don't want to have a gap, you see. I want to see the white paper, so I'm going to drop this down and start running it about like that. But that's going to have to sit on the outside, and then the next board is going to be on the top like that. So I'm still going to have to fill that gap somehow with a bit of a cut down version of this. Right then, so now I'm starting to lath up, or get the frame in place, the building frame, to hold the front cladding. So I've got one on the bottom, I've got one on the side here. Now just going to pop one of the laths across the middle of this window. It's not quite full length, but I think I'm going to be able to get away with it. I hope I can get away with it. So I'll just pop this about, I think about there. It's not going to be as high as the window. It needs to be sort of semi-central. I'm hoping that it's going to be sort of wide enough so that it'll just catch the edge of one of the boards, and they can sit against each other on either side. Okay. Should be all right. Should be all right. That'll be fine there. Can you see now how the lath, this one, overhangs? Gives you more of an idea now what I've got to do to bring the board to the end, because when I pop this one on here, it'll be that way around, won't it? When I start putting these ones on here, I've got that gap there to fill. So that one there has got to be, what's that? That's 5 centimetres from there to the edge of here. That's quite a bit of an infill. Back on it again, and it's been a bit of a morning already. I've already gone through trying to cut the trickiest shape I think I've had to cut yet, and that's this one. I made a bit of a bugger up because the wood is actually sided, and it's sided with this bevel. It's cut on the tongue, and if you look, that bit edged in and that bit is square. So I was cutting out for this piece here, cut out the timber, and then realised I've cut the wrong side. I marked up the wrong side. I marked up the back side of the wood and not the front side of the wood, because if you look, I got the square tang on there. So when I came to put this up, I'd got the back of the wood and not the front of the wood. I should have been cutting that end. Anyway, that said, it did give me a good template to use. Just hold the two pieces together to mark up the correct side of the wood, and then cut that out. I'm just at the point now where I'm about to fix these in position. I've got two tricky bits. There was this one with a funny shape in the end. To cut that, and if you look, I've had to work out the angles of the wood as well to get that so that it will fit against this piece of wood here. Perhaps if I show you from the side, you'll be able to see. But before I do that, there's also this piece. This here is, I had to cut this right down to make sure that it'd be a good fit. And I've also ended up having to, wherever I've made a new cut, this edge I've ended up planing and then going over again and scorching and lined up. And there we have a nicely lined up corner, which it's still not. I need to find a way of wedging that down. How's that gonna go? Nice. Beautiful. So that's the cut piece, and that's planed and sanded a little to then meet up with this pleased with that. Just a few hundred more to go and we're there. Oh, there's one other thing that's a bit of a win. When I was cutting the width of this one, what I wanted to do was make sure that when the next piece of timber comes, it sort of lines up with the inside. So this is going to be an interesting trial. See if it now fits where I wanted it to. It's going to come in, join up with this piece against the timber like that. That's going to be bob on. Look at that. Beautiful. That's looking at it. See if somebody measured it. Looking a little top light. Now, question is, how am I going to edge this window? Top mark again is going to be around here. I've got my height. Now I need to work out the depth, something like that. And then all of this will need to be cut out of that piece. I think if I drop it down onto the table saw, I can rip down the majority of the wood and then just finish it off with my handsaw. Now, it's not a lot, there's really not going to be a lot left of this wood by the time I've done that. Right, back to table saw config. If I do it the right way up, then I'll be able to see my mark. Go. Oh dear. And finish off the rest with the saw. Cool. That's one. Super. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. This fits should be absolutely amazing. Oh yes, man. That looks lush. I'm not going to tap him in just yet because I'm going to hit him up with one go. So let's get this burnt and then we'll put him in. Awesome. Now I'm going to scoot across the bottom, scoot across the top, and get loads of little offcuts done. Cool. So I've realised that I'm burning all this timber and then stick it on the outside of the building. I haven't really told you why. So this is Yagasaki or Yoshugi ban. It's a Japanese technique to be able to char the timber, close the grains up together and protect it from organic matter. The point of this is to heat up the timbers to the point that it chars it, and that warms the wood, dries it out, brings the grains closer together and gets the sap to flow across the wood and spread. What that does, that seals the wood, locks it up and stops any organic matter and any animals getting into the timbers and eating it. So it should make it last for hundreds and hundreds of years. sort of stuff. It's not all about making coffee, that's for sure. In fact, I don't know what this channel is about. It's about what I fancy doing next, and I fancy giving this a go. But if you want to see what happens next, click on that subscribe button down there, and if you click on the bell, you'll be notified the next time I release a video, whatever that's going to be. But for now, thanks very much. I'll see you later. Bye.